This doll is a dream come true.
A Dolphy dream come true.
Limited edition with a limited skin tone, Anti-Himemia from Revolutionary Girl Utena. And today she's going to become one of our huge Bratz doll! Yasmin. We bought this body secondhand from the US last year, and recently we went to Dallas, Texas for a doll convention. We met amazing people, hung out with our doll customizing friends, and bought some American art and sewing supplies. So we'll try to use as much American stuff as possible. Welcome to the Freedom Challenge, where we use stuff we bought in the USA and guns are not allowed. And we have healthcare. I'm sorry. If you're a frequent guest on our channel, you probably remember our Chloe and Sasha custom dolls. And if you haven't seen them, here is a Bratz playlist. Also, subscribe and hit the bell to get notification when we post Jade. And here she is! Isn't she gorgeous? Her face sculpt and skin tone are unique, and I just had to have her in our collection. She's secondhand and has some small stains, but it doesn't bother us that much. I'm just happy that we have her and happy that we can use this body for brown characters. Let's start with Chloe's head as a model for making a wig. As always, we need to prepare a wig cap first. I use plastic wrap to protect the head, stretchy fabric and glue, and you also need a lot of time to let the glue dry. After a few layers of glue, we can release Chloe from the prison. This is the only part where we won't be using anything from the US because we already have everything needed, and I actually started making the wig cap and hair wefts before the trip. My idea for the hairstyle is curly, half up, half down, with a high ponytail and maybe curtain bangs. So I start gluing wefts for the half down part and curling them in sections. It's easier to curl these bottom layers of hair first and then glue more hair because you can easily access them. I don't need the curls to be tight or perfect, so I'm using a hair straightener for it. Some of them turned out better, some a little less better, but that's also how real-life curls work. And then it's time to move on to the top part of the hair. Some of those will go down, but most of this part will go to the ponytail. I put some paper mache on top of her head to make a bit more volume there, and I'm adding the same stuff to sculpt a parting. It's just 2 bumps, made with paper and glue, painted brown to match the rest, and when it's dry, I can glue hair on top. Let's finish the bangs with some sturdy wefts that I'm gluing inside the crevice. So this is how it looks for now, and it's time for some radical moves. If I do this, there is no coming back. Because synthetic hair won't form a high ponytail on its own, I need a little help and stabilizing from hot glue. Notice that I put the side parts in the ponytail first, so the top part can join the ponytail later and create a nice smooth layer on top of the head. The ponytail also has to be curled to match the rest of the hair, of course. I couldn't decide what to do with the front curls, so I styled them a few slightly different ways before I got the type I like. I'm still not sure about the decorations here, so I'll take care of it when we have the outfit done, so I can match it to their colors and textures. Before we jump into the fashionable world of Bratz, let's thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare.
Lately, I've been wanting to make more time for creativity as a daily practice, kind of like how we think about health and wellness. Creativity is a muscle, and the more we use it, the stronger it gets. But between working on my PhD and creating content, I've been struggling to stay organized. That's why I've been exploring Skillshare and recently took a class that fits perfectly into this mindset. K is to Calm, Google Calendar Workshop for Creatives by Jules Acree. It's all about using Google Calendar, which is something that I already use, to streamline your schedule, reduce stress, and make more time for creative projects. And honestly, these days, I'll take any and all help to stay organized and focused. If you somehow still don't know what Skillshare is, it's an amazing online learning platform with thousands of classes led by industry experts. Whether you want to explore film, illustration, animation, design, entrepreneurship, or even productivity hacks, there's something for everyone. It's a fantastic way to build your skills, grow your passions, or even level up a side hustle. People often misattribute a learned and practiced skill to some heaven-sent or intrinsic talent, but it's just like going to the gym. Building your creative skills takes consistency, and Skillshare makes it easy to put those reps in and grow in ways you've always wanted to.
So, if you've been wanting to start your own creative practice, now's the perfect time. The first 500 people to use our link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Take your first step in your creative journey today.
This video has turned into a only buying fabric from clearance at Joann's challenge. Since we're here. So, yeah. Sorry. Trying to not be too weird in America.
One of my requests was to go to the now bankrupt Joann's Fabrics and experience the glory of a national fabric chain store, mega store before it dies. We picked up a nice variety, and the denim is perfect for the jeans I had pinned on my Pinterest board for a very long time now. So I made it into a pattern, and it is available on Enchanterium.com, so make sure to check it out.
I made sure to orient the print the right way before cutting out my pieces, and since it's dark denim, I decided to line it. Our inti unfortunately came with a stain, but I'm trying to prevent further damage. I used a very thin white cotton fabric to try and keep the bulk to minimum, since the denim itself is a bit thick. I lined the front, leaving this apart, because this is gonna open in the side, right? Make sure to stitch from here. Do the same on the other side. I'm just walking myself through it, guys. You don't have to listen. And then I'll repeat the same with this, and everybody's gonna be happy, right? I think I'm confident enough in my thinking that I'll just do it, and then if I fail miserably, like always, you guys can laugh at me. Deal? While I did test the fit of the pattern, I did not test lining it, so you can have a first-hand experience of me talking myself through it. And by the way, if I wasn't recording, I would have probably talked myself through it the same. I stitched the line fronts and backs at the sides, but I'm pretty sure you can also sew them entirely and then join them, but my option seemed easier. I think this is pretty good. It's lined. It's not perfect. But you know what? Now I need to repeat this success, which is worse, because I often have luck on my side and the second time doesn't go so well. So, wish me luck. I'm gonna stop rambling now and get the stitching. Yeah. I did get to stitching and did the crotch seam, and I'm pretty sure you could do the lining crotch seam some other way so that the seam allowance is actually not facing the doll, but I decided that she's not really going to feel uncomfortable. She's a plastic doll, so whatever, and as long as it's not transferring any dye, I'm happy with it. After turning everything to the right side, I confirmed very enthusiastically that the pants fit and went on to finish the closures on the sides with some silver eyelets. I used the white cord to lace up the sides and added some pearls at the end to make sure my ends don't slip out, and it also makes for a cute little detail at the ends. Also helps the string be weighed down a little bit more naturally in this scale. And now I present to you a segment of my life called, "Oh hey, you can sew, right? I have some pants that need adjusting." Hemming some pants intermission. The slit in the front is optional, but I made it with some lace inserts in mind. They are actually quite straightforward to make. They are just circle skirts for your shins. I folded the lace we got from Joanna twice, traced the largest radius that would fit, and cut it. Then I cut a small hole in the center and split it in the back. You can either keep it as a standalone piece on an elastic or stitch it by hand onto the lining permanently like I did. Because I developed this pattern for both Smart Doll and Dolphy Dream's sister is shorter, I need to hem these a bit differently, also accounting for the very tall platforms the shoes are gonna have. With the trousers folded, I traced a sort of high-low hem, cut it, and stitched it in. At the end, I tacked the lining to the main fabric, and the pants were still not done. We decided to add more detail with some smaller pearls running along that front seam. Oh my god! That one went into my eye. Almost. I marked them every 1 centimeter, which for you imperial users is 6.21371192 times 10 to the minus 6th miles. And one by one, sewed them down the front of the trousers. I think it really was worth the extra effort. 2 hours later. Not gonna add them to the back because it would be uncomfortable to set. And also a lot of work. All that is left to do is add some branding. Why water? And we can move on to the jacket. Yay!
Now, in the spirit of reduce, reuse, ikiki, I pulled out my Bolero pattern, also on Enchanterium.com, this one is free, and made some slight modifications to make a fur coat out of it.
It's not that complicated to change up a simple pattern. As you can see, I squared up the front, I realized that the back piece was also saying front, extended the bottom and added some style lines to stitch in, and that's it. The fur's out, so we're all about to be sneezing. Ugh! I just inhaled a lot of that. I tried cutting this, only the back, but it's inconvenient for me. You can do it if you want. Cut it like this and then pull it apart or whatever. And it doesn't leave as much debris in the air. However, I don't like how it's difficult to line up the fabric afterwards. So I'm just gonna bring the vacuum and do it the old-fashioned way. This method only works if you are enclosing all of the edges though, and that's what I decided to do by making the jacket lined. I actually made a trial version of this jacket and tweaked the pattern a bit more, mainly by making the sleeves a little bit bigger. After cutting it all out, I stitched in the horizontal lines on the pieces with a narrow zigzag to form little puffy sections. Then it's pretty straightforward construction, just complicated by the fur flying everywhere and the machine being upset over hair fibers getting everywhere. You guys, I just ripped it out because I just did that. Why? Why the sleeve doesn't want to get in the right way? Explain. I bet you can't explain. Don't do drugs, including snorting fur fiber. I'm pretty sure it's not very good for your health. And also, there's no high off of it, okay? You just sneeze. My sewing machine is equally done with this fur as I am. I have prepared the lining, and I am now going to stitch the following edges together.
The sleeves, the bottom back, the bottom front, and the neckline into the other bottom front.
So basically everything but the sleeve sides and the side seams. I used a polyester satin for my lining just because it was light pink, so it matched the fur, and because I had it, but I do not recommend it against fur because it was sliding a lot. Generally, polyester satin is one of my least favorite fabrics to work with, maybe even more so than the fur itself. It's time to sew this into 2 loops. It's easiest to find the loop by finding the side seam of the sleeve. And then you're just gonna match up all of your little seams. You will make a hole for turning it over. So you're gonna do 1 loop on one side, and the other side also has a loop like this. You only need to leave a gap on one of them. And that's basically it. You close this hole and we done. Early evening. Just kidding, I still have to do the top today. Now through this hole, you need to squeeze a new life. It shouldn't be hard. That's a bit gross. And now we need to finish this. Perfetto. This is the final result. This is also the final result. You have a different colored fur. So which one will it be? I think the pink goes better with these.
All our Bratz dolls have 3 printed heads. This time I used a spare one that was left after we made Sasha. Changing the skin tone was a long process this time. This color was not matching for hours. At some point I looked at what I did, wiped it off and went home. The next day I started over and the second attempt was a bit better, but still super hard to match the paint to the rest of the body. But I made it! Yay! And we'll start painting the face from the lips, so the most iconic part of Bratz style. That also didn't work as planned. I had to try a few different eye shapes too before I liked it. On the first few layers, I use watercolor pencils and spray with Mr. Super Clear whenever I want to save the process. The next step is to add some chalk pastels as an eyeshadow and blush, and we can't forget Yasmin's iconic beauty mark under her left eye. I also added some light freckles, not as much as on Chloe, but to add a bit of texture to the skin. When I'm finally ready to commit to the base sketch, I switched to acrylics and vinyl paints. I chose bright pink for her lips with a slightly darker lip liner, and I decided to make her lips in a very round shape. I think this type of makeup with a round top lip is super cute. It never works well on me, but I like how it looks on others, and I think Yasmin would rock this style. I thought the combo of pink lips with purple eyeshadow would be cute, especially that we almost never use this combination, so it would be a nice challenge to try mixing them together. I usually tend to go for very restricted color palettes, and I think I would like to try breaking from these safe color combinations and explore a bit more. But it turns out it's not in this video. I don't know which devil whispered in my ear that a white thick liner would be a good idea, but I did it and regret it. She matches well with Chloe when it comes to colors, so I wanted her to match with Sasha a bit more too, which is why I tried the same makeup style here. But I really didn't like it. It's just not how I want our Yasmin to look like. And then I remembered I was supposed to use the stuff we bought in the US. I got some paint, brushes, and pan pastels. So after wiping the purple makeup off, I decided to use these pastels to create a nude smoky eyeshadow. The general idea for her was to join her kind and nature-loving personality with a glam, or maybe soft glam, aesthetic, but in a casual way. So heavy makeup, but in natural colors, like you can see the makeup is there, but it's perfectly blended into her look. And I think this makeup will suit this idea better than the previous attempt. I still want to add a pop of color on the eyeliner, but this time it's only a detail and not a whole look. I tried using a blue brush from the US, but Meh, I prefer my trusty European brush full small lines. But the black one I got there turned out to be amazing for blending colors together, like the gradient in the irises. After painting the liner light pink, I can add the eyelashes. Long and wispy like on our other Bratz characters. I just realized that I'm making the eyes looking in the same direction as the other ones. Well, I'm not going to erase it at this point. Yeah, I wanted two looking left and two looking right, but well, it is what it is. I'm adding a few catch lights and small lines on the irises and a little bit brighter dot in the center of her pupils. I want her makeup to be glam, and that means sparkle. Perex powders are usually not enough to make that shine, so I mixed them with water and painted the glitter by hand. But after setting it with MSC, it also lost the shine. So after I glossed her lips with UV resin, I did the same with the eyeshadow. But instead of a smooth surface, I made a lot of tiny dots to imitate the glitter texture. It looks wet and juicy, but unfortunately, this face sculpt is very flat, so the shine is visible only from certain angles.
I had a bit of a hard time coming up with shoes that would work well with the open front of the jeans and also be on a big platform. Our other Bratz have big shoes, and Dolphy Dream sisters are already shorter than the Smart Doll, so I opted out to use the same soles as Chloe to make sure she doesn't look extra short. For the upper, I chose a loafer style in shiny silver leather. I plotted the pattern on the back and cut it out by hand. I first hemmed the mushroom cap looking piece and wanted to add a strap on top. In the meantime, I lined my mushrooms and trimmed the lining. It's a synthetic fabric, so I just burned the edge a bit. I stitched on the straps and moved on to hem the main piece and attach it to the mushroom at the tip. And then I sandwiched it with the lining on the other side.
It's like a guy with a square head with goggles like Cyclops and hands. Happy! Yay! And now it's like making a heart. A big heart for you.
That's basically it for the upper, so I put some insoles on the last and lasted the upper, like usual. Some trimming and filling later, and the shoes can be glued into soles. These were printed from PLA. And that's it. Shoes are really simple. I picked up this Dolphy Dream sewing book while in Japan and was hoping to use this baby doll dress as a starting point. I scanned the pattern and tried changing it a couple times, trying to add a nice ruffle in the middle, then trying a few flounce options, and then trying this gathered thing. But I think between the fabric being wrong and the scale working against me, I had to scrap this design entirely and tried to make a cowl neckline top by draping it on the doll. It's a simple trapezoid piece with 2 eyelets, which I will end up tying in the front later. I bought a loop turner to make thin spaghetti straps to match for this, but I really struggled to pull them through. I think it's because of the texture of the fabric, and I ended up using the leftover string from the trousers to tie the top. I knew it was missing something still, but I'm sure Alex will take care of that.
Every doll needs some cute accessories, and Yasmin definitely deserves some. Let's start from the earrings. I feel like Yasmin is the type of girl who likes the idea of being a little bit more alternative but prefers more feminine styles, so I think a lot of girly piercings will suit her really well. While I'm gluing decorations, we want to thank our Patreons for supporting our doll customizing journey.
Let's thank our top Lost Sister tier supporters, Stephanie Deer, Adia Bear, Barb from the Future, and Red X. Let's also thank our cousin tier Patreons, Valerie My Stitch and Dolliver's, Nylene, Jamie Davis, Reese's Cup, Candy Guts, Earth Boxy, Willa Vanilla, Hopezet, North Soul, Laurent, Sofa Cushion, Angel, Silver Rose, Avon Rose, Malachite, Alienite, Whimsy, Whitetails, Kit the Caroline, Kito Kato, Burt BTW, Krista Hopper, Doll Dragon, Eden Cassidy, Leon Jostings, DM, Bakayarona Smith, Melissa Novoa, Rinth, Fun of TA, Ashley, Mikey Lemon, Andrea Select Arcane, Brielty, The Barbie Witch, Stephanie, Karaho, Jane Beck, Karabu, Ninja Star Zeno, Dream Up, and last but not least, Catherine Nodon. Thanks, guys!
We bought this mug at the Dollcon Dallas, so it's perfect for our Freedom Challenge. I still can't believe this is how we named it. I quickly painted it and designed a 2010s style of text to put on it, but I made 2 basic rookie mistakes. I didn't prime it and I didn't seal it.
Oh no.
Oh, lipa.
So, on my next attempt, I sanded the plastic first, added 2 layers of MSC, made sure that the paint is thick and more textured, sealed it with more MSC, and this time it worked without any problems. Wow, if you do things properly, it actually works! Unbelievable! Prince. S. Princess. And with this little accessory, she's ready. This is how she turned out. I have to say, as soon as we chose the fabric at the store, I knew this custom would be fire! I saw the vision right then and there, and I'm so happy we got to make memories with friends that will forever be tied to this custom. I'm also very happy that I finally got to work on a Dolphy dream. When I went to Japan about a year ago, I was very confident that these dolls were not the right aesthetic for me, but since then, I fell in love with many of them, especially Dolphy Dream Miku, which I hope to customize one day. And I have to spill that we already have some more Dolphys joining our crew. But that will probably have to wait because we have a new boy shipment joining in crew as well. Anyway, we are nearing the end of our Bratz series with only one left, Jade. How do you think we should style her? Make sure to follow us on Instagram for some sneak peeks and subscribe for future videos. Visit Enchanterium.com for sewing patterns. Have an enchanted day, and we will see you next time with some big muscles, I hope. Bye! We made amazing people hang out with our friends or enemies.